Well, the next big one was, of course, the Lingayen Gulf, Luzon, yeah. And that was our disaster ambush. We got ambushed there.
Now the island of Luzon, largest of the Philippines, is softened up, made ripe for invasion. Luzon, and the prize of the campaign, Manila. From 10,000 times 10,000 villages, towns, and cities in the United States, New Zealand, and Australia, Allied men and ships converge on the Philippines, on Luzon. Through Surigao Strait they come, sailing westward into the Mindanao Sea, and thence across the Sulu Sea, through Mindoro Strait, and north into the South China Sea, up along the west coast of Luzon, and into Lingayen Gulf. It is January 1945. Ashore, the Japanese, baffled and confused by the swift succession of Allied moves and feints, cannot stop the flow of invasion. The 6th Army takes over Lingayen Gulf and seizes a beachhead 17 miles wide, 4 miles deep.
It was a reinforcement, and we were supposed to go in, and we hit the wrong beach. But they said there was smoke and our compass was wrong. Well, I know for one thing there was no smoke. We put smoke boats out a lot of times and stuff. The day was beautifully clear. It was just as clear as thing. And I don't know about the compass. I couldn't say what the compass, but somebody screwed up. Anyhow, we got in, I think 9 miles or someplace from where we were supposed to land. You know, you could make a difference there. And there's a guy there waving us in with a white flag, waving us in. And I was in the, I always had a good spot. I learned this from one of the earlier guys. He says, always get back in the, like the starboard side of these small boats, and in that corner there, and that's where you want to be. That's a safe spot. I don't know why. But that's where I was, and I was safe. I had my radio, and I was looking around for a place to set up. I saw a school off to one thing. I think, oh, we'll set up over there, and we're just a piece of cake, you know, and it's just really, we let down, the guy waved us in with a white flag. I told you that, didn't I?
Right.
And he got shot, by the way. We dropped our ramp. We were all getting out and unloading, and then they opened up on us. They started firing, and the firing started. Somebody shot the guy with the white flag. I don't know where else his firing was coming from. It was off this way too, I know, because one of the shells went through the little boat, a plywood boat. All right, so we raised our ramp, and some of the guys were still out there. They had to crawl over the side, or some of them were dead already, I'm sure. And I was firing over this side. I had a carbine. I loved it, a little automatic. But the guy next to me, he was a corpsman. I remember his name. And I remember poking him and saying, let's get the hell out of here, and he's dead. I think I've told you that one. And he's, I figured out later, he was already shot. I mean, for the grace of God, I'm sitting right next to a guy, and he gets shot, and I get a scratch. I remember the machine gunners, there's 2 of them behind me, and both of those guys got it. I was afraid of getting shot by this one guy who was shooting over my head, this machine gunner. The other guy was off there. I bailed out on the over, because the firing was coming from the right. And so I bailed out over the starboard, or the left side of the small boat. And in my ignorance, I had decided that you can't get killed. Bullets don't go underwater. So I swam underwater. I shucked off my shoes and my boots. So I'm swimming underwater, getting out of there. And I come up, and my friend, this is when I run across, they had Deans. Deans was having, some guy was trying to get, Deans was wounded bad. He lost. He didn't lose his leg. Another guy lost his leg, but he's still limping. They had to take him off. We got him, but there some guy was trying to fight him for his life jacket, and Deans was my buddy, my superior, NCOIC or whatever you want. Yeah, I went back and got him, kicked the other guy, and pulled Dean, and we took off swimming. And there was a small group of us, and we didn't know what they were shooting at us still, and got out of there. I don't know how. If they'd come in a boat, they could just picked us off, but they didn't. Oh God, I was scared. We got out to sea ways, and we didn't know where to go because the fleet's way you can't see them. And there's some islands, there's some hills and stuff off that way, and we were trying to figure out whether to go this way or that way, and we just went up, and we kept swimming. I towed him. We swam together, and he had this life belt. They had these life belts. It wasn't like a life jacket. You blow them up. They had CO2s in there, and you push the thing in, and they explode. You have them around your waist, or you can have them strung out. We had it like that. It was so we had a life belt, and he was hanging onto that, and I was towing him, swimming out to sea. Well, like this one friend of mine, Signalman Stilla, had a piece of boat shot through his neck. He's out there swimming with us with his boat, a piece of wood, you know, through his neck, and he was swimming along with us, and doing all right. And the other guy, I don't know, Minton lost his leg. There's wounded. Everybody was just about wounded. Yeah. The adrenaline was going. We were figuring how to survive. You know, you can't be scared and figuring how to survive at the same time, or I couldn't anyhow. And an airplane, one of our Navy planes, was going up and down the coast and saw us. And I remember I had a pair of shorts on. That's all I had on. I took them off and waved the shorts. So evidently I was naked when they picked me up. I can't remember that, but I remember waving him, and he waggled his wings. And then a little shortly later, we was out in the water for, I don't know, a couple hours, I guess. That's what they tell me. A destroyer come and picked us up, and then went in and shelled, and they gave us credit for finding enemy gun positions. Big deal. That's one hell of a way to find an enemy gun position. But anyhow, they took us back. I remember I snookered Deans. I got him, and he couldn't drink. I got his brandy. We got a shot of brandy, and he was. Well, they got us back to our ship anyhow. And I remember that night. You asked me about realizing I was in war. I realized it there. Everybody, we had an air attack there, and I remember there again. I was sleeping on. I went up topside, and I was laying there and watching the. I didn't have a general quiet. I was supposed to be on the beach, but I remember seeing the spotlights go following these airplanes, and they fire at the airplanes. And I, to this day, I can't figure out how they could keep the spotlights. They have great big spotlights, and they put them on the airplanes. As you know, they're coming over to bomb us, and then they fire at them. But I was laying there in wonderment of how they did it. Well, next morning, I had to report to captain. I got some more clothes, some clothes and stuff. Went down, checked out another carbine, and went back into the beach where I was supposed to be, where the rest of the guys were. And they were all surprised to see me. They thought they'd been in the boat, the other boat, and they'd left. They thought we was all destroyed. And it was like a homecoming. Well, that was the Lingayen Gulf affair, ambush or whatever. Out of 28 guys, I'll put this in, evidently 28 guys, 11 of them were killed outright there that day. And 17 of us survived, and I think I'm the only one that come out without a scratch. I had one scratch. I don't know whether it was a bullet or coral or what, but it was a miracle.
The Army is